Hello. Today I have with me Adam. Adam works with FrontFanz. Adam, could you please introduce yourself and what you do?
I'd love to. Well, thank you so much for having us on Decentra Talks today. My name's Adam, otherwise known as VCAdam across the crypto and just general crypto Twitter space. I am the communications director here at FrontFanz. I'll talk a little bit more about what FrontFanz is, but I want to introduce myself. Really, what I do on the team is, well, as the name implies in my title, everything communication. So I love to do these AMAs. It's a real passion of mine. Also, I do all the socials when it comes to everything front fans as a token, because we do have two Twitters, one for the platform itself, and then one for the token, some of the updates on the token. And I am joined on a team of six here at Front Fans. We're an entirely doxed team. You can see that team on fanx.frontfanz.com. And I'm really excited to be here and talk a little bit about what we're doing in the space.
Thank you. So, first of all, I have been listening to a lot of the AMAs and the talks that you've done. I was on the spaces that you did with Mario Nofel. I think you're a really charismatic guy and you're really good at talking. And coming from my perspective, I typically work a lot in like very high tech stuff. And people that are, running these things are not really good at kind of selling their product or explaining what they do. So I just wanted to let you know that's something that you do really well. So could you please tell us like what Front Fans is? Just explain a bit about what it is and how you got into it.
Oh, wow. Aside from giving me a smile right now and a pat on the back, thank you so much. That really does mean a lot. That was really one of our enterprising spaces that we had. I'm really happy you discovered us through this. Many people did, in fact. And we continue to have that sort of, precedent whenever we take on AMAs. So really appreciate that. But going straight into what we're doing here at Front Fans, I like to say this, and I think this distills it down pretty clear in my opinion. If you know OnlyFans, then you'll understand FrontFans. Now, why I say that is because OnlyFans obviously is the number one adult platform out there for subscriptions, for even a little bit of live streaming here and there. It is massive. It's global. It's, making billions of dollars on an annual basis, right? And as an entire industry, we're talking hundreds of billions that's projected to grow as one of the two industries in general, the adult industry and the gambling industry. Those are the two industries that are projected to grow no matter what, whether there's a recession, whether there's some major issue, black swan events, it doesn't really matter. The adult industry and the gambling industry continue on. Now, with that being understood, I did make the mention and kind of the assumption that if you understand OnlyFans, you'll understand front fans. Here's why. We're in the same industry, but how I like to say the platform and the experience is really summarized is if you took the best of OnlyFans, combined it with the UI elements of a little bit of Instagram and Twitch as far as how you navigate around, and then also took the best of a fully fledged cam website, combine them all together into a low fee model that is, of course, Web3, you have FrontFans. Now, this is a platform and token and project holistically that is run by industry insiders. In fact, myself, the dev, and our lead influencer from the UK, who's the biggest comedian out of the UK, we're the only three people on the team that haven't had many years of experience in the adult industry. If we look running through the top to the bottom, our CEO, her name is Stacy Carla. She's actually an ex-Playboy model that has had 10 years of experience in the adult industry. Jordana Fox, who I actually got introduced to Front Fans through, managing director, she's had 20 years of experience in the adult industry and has actually been in Web3 since 2017. That's how I initially met her. If we continue on, and I won't spend too much time here, but I do want to just explain the experience on the team. I think it's very important, especially knowing that the team is doxed. Liv, Gem, she's had 10 years of experience in the adult industry and has actually herself tried to find platforms that meet that inherent need of bringing Web3 to the adult space. And we're going to talk exactly why that hasn't happened yet and how FrontFans is making incredible inroads in doing that. But before we do, I just wanted to mention a few more key team members. I would be remiss not to. Callum Baxter, he's the founder and actually the person where the name Front Fans really came from, because he actually led a magazine that was very popular in the UK back in the day called Front Magazine. It was a adult Men's Health magazine. So mesh that name with fans and you have FrontFanz. That's where the name came from. He's one of the founders. Of course, I already went through myself. Let me just give a few more points there. I've been in Web3 kind of similar to yourself. Last 3+ years, I've actually been professionally working in Web3 doing voice work, exactly what I do right now for, high functioning competent teams for the last 1 year, seriously, like as my full-time job. Completely left the Web2 space. I was doing sales for the last 7 years, work with companies as big as Samsung and otherwise. And I just love this space. I love it so much. And now that we're going into the bull market, I can't let go. So anyways, just rounding out the team here, we have Andrew, who is our lead software dev, also has 20 years of experience in software development at large, and Hati, who is usually actually joining me on these AMAs. She's a creator on platform, one of our early adopters, and someone who's fundamental in actually building out new creators joining the platform. So that's a little bit about who makes it possible. And again, just to circle back to your initial question of, what is FrontFanz? It really is that conglomeration of all the best of these adult platforms in a very clean and well thought out, at least in our opinion, platform that is, by the way, live. It has been live for the last month plus. In fact, we went live middle of last month in November. And in our first week of going live and adding liquidity on Uniswap, we went live with our platform. And since then, we've had many new creators on board. We've had tons of signups on the Web 2 and Web 3 side, because yes, you can sign up on either way. And it's just been an amazing adventure. And that's part of the reason why we're doing so well right now. And it is just the start. We're just embarking. So I'll go ahead and pass it back to you.
I've been on the site and I've read the white paper and I've really took a deep dive into your product and how it works. And I think that there's a huge need for what you guys are doing. And others have attempted to work on this problem in the past and have failed for various different reasons. I've seen like NSFW token, and I've also seen Cummies and their NFT project. They all really tried to create this platform where people can do adult industry stuff in Web3, which is a huge. Web3 is really built for these types of businesses that are kind of being bullied by the traditional financial system. So if you think about PayPal and if you think about Visa and MasterCard, they all continuously have issues with adult creators, despite the fact that it's legal and pretty much everywhere, and despite the fact that it's safe for a lot of people, and it's just a business that people will always do, like you said. It doesn't matter what's going on in the world. This is a very critical business. And I honestly, not to get too deep into it, but I feel like this is a business that's critical because it keeps people from kind of going crazy, especially in situations like COVID where you're kind of locked in the house all day and you need human connection. And it's a great outlet for these types of things. What I wanted to ask, and thanks for introducing your team. I didn't know, I knew about a few of them, so I appreciate the introductions. What I want to know now is how are you guys solving these types of problems, and what do you think you're doing differently than these past projects that have attempted to do what you're doing now?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I just wanted to commend you for really hitting it on the head there before we even jumped in of just, really putting in the light a major issue, which you alluded to there and actually kind of mentioned, was payment providers being a huge issue. So we're talking the likes of MasterCard, American Express, otherwise. What happens, and it does happen quite a bit, whether you're a small time creator on OnlyFans, middle band, top 1%, doesn't matter. Chargebacks are a big problem. And this is a Web 2 problem. This is not a Web 3 problem. And this is really where the opportunity was calling and screaming out to the right project to find the solution. So what's happening effectively is, and this happens like right now as we're speaking, it's happening, tons of times over, is creators are making money on platform, obviously, on the likes of OnlyFans and other Web 2 platforms, adult platforms. What happens is at any time, effectively, someone can call their, card provider and say, well, I didn't order that custom content. I didn't pay $1,000 for those custom videos. Someone must have compromised my card. No. Go ahead and charge those back. Give me a refund and go ahead and send me a new card because obviously it was compromised. That can happen. And that can go back up to 6 months, which is insane. They're always going to side on the side of, the customer, which is good if you're the customer. But really bad if you're the creator because the platform doesn't give you the credit.
I'm sorry to cut you off real quick. I just don't want to forget it. I think
No, no, please.
that is one huge issue, and the other huge issue is that given the way that the terms and conditions of these providers are set up for content creators, even Web 2 content creators that are just like artsy people, they can get their accounts and their banks shut down at any point. Like you can have hundreds of thousands of dollars just kind of lost because they just decided they don't want to service you anymore. So you're really talking well here. Keep going. Sorry to cut you off.
No, no. I mean, I can tell. You understand the industry. You've obviously studied this, which I appreciate. But for those that haven't, it is a big deal, guys. This is a big deal, and all it takes is a few clicks and a couple, type a little bit of typing on the keyboard to find that this is an endemic issue, right? This is something that is not just affecting the new creators, but even the legacy ones. People are getting locked out of their accounts. PayPal is saying, hey, we're no longer going to support this, or we're not feeling it today, right? We're even getting to the point where, and this is wild, but it is true. There's articles on this which blew my mind. Even if you're applying to, potentially get a loan for a house, creators are having issues because guess what? They're getting their money from the likes of OnlyFans, right? So there's obviously a need for something to disrupt this space, obviously. Now, here's what's also great. When we look at there needing to be an option, I personally, and this is what I did when I first joined the team about 9 months ago, is I said, look, from data we have as a team thus far, are we already seeing models, creators, however you want to say it, already experimenting with alternative forms of payment because they're fed up? And the answer is a resounding yes. A lot of creators already have Amazon wish lists, so that way you can buy direct as a form of payment. There's creators experimenting with crypto, whether it be successful or not, because maybe they're new to crypto, up in the air, but they're looking for other ways to accept payment that are outside of platform because they don't trust these platforms. Plain and simple, they just don't. And I don't blame them. So now bringing it to, what is that FrontFanz difference? Why do we exist? Why did we really take on this $1 billion issue? Well, because it is something that can be fixed. And Web3 is the solution to this because, of course, it is the final layer. If you send a tip, if you send a subscription, if you do this, it's final. There is no chargeback. It's all on the blockchain, which is a beautiful thing for a content creator. And guess what? It's also amazing for a user as well. Because on the FrontFanz platform, you can sign up completely anonymous, Web3, using Wallet Connect, using MetaMask, however you want. You never have to tell us your email. You never have to tell us a password. No KYC, and you can even load it up with existing tokens you have straight into the wallet, and you're off to the races. You can do everything on platform. What I love is we're also understanding that, yes, this is a solution in the Web3 space, but is one that has to be married to the Web2 space. Because we know that the Web2 space is still so much bigger than the small pond we find ourselves in Web3. We're the bleeding edge of advancement, and the rest of the world is not there yet, which is okay. It's evolving. We're coming into the next cycle. With that in mind, we needed to make sure our platform also is able to be accessible and fully used from the Web2 side. And we have that as well. You can sign up using an email and password if you choose to. Once you come in, you don't need to know what crypto is. We have 2 different fiat on-ramp options, which let you even pay with Google and Apple Pay using your card to simply get tokens on platform USDC to be able to buy. Now, here's what's really good is in the next few months, we're also going to be allowing for Fanx to be, loaded on accounts. And that's going to get you, and this is getting into the utility of the token, that's going to get you up to 10% off platform wide. So this is answering the why for the Web2 users. Why would someone who's a dedicated diehard fan of a porn star or an up and coming girl next door that they found on OnlyFans, why would they care about coming to our platform? They're already spending their money. They're going to want a discount on the stuff they're already buying. Enter Fanx token. So before we get too deep in the weeds there on the utility side, I just wanted to say that's why we exist. We have a proven platform that already has, we just had a couple content creators sign up like literally a few days ago, and people are loving this platform because it works. Cash outs work for creators. New users can deposit funds. Signups are working. We're able to scale. We're seeing on average like about just under 100 new users a day signing up from the Web2 side from the ads we're running on tube sites. So it's just that perfect marriage of starting to build up momentum on users and also activity on platform, because you do need both. But I'll pass it back to you. I'd love to dive into a little bit more on how big this industry is, and it also ties into utility of how people can actually get maybe a little bit of a part of that by exposure into the project. But of course, I'd love to give it back to you to dive into specifics.
So I really want to let you cook on the whole token side of things. I bought the pre-sale and it performed extraordinarily well. It was like one of the best investments of the year for me. Right after Pepe, I bought Pepe and I bought Fan. I usually just buy Bitcoin and ETH and that's it. That's like my investment strategy. But whenever I see something that I kind of know is going to pop off, I try to put money into it. So I'm going to let you go on that for a bit. What I did want to say though is one thing that you guys are doing that's interesting is the fact that you're servicing both and you're creating a bridge between the old technology and the new one. And I think that a lot of people in my space are sort of missing that picture. A lot of us like have this idealistic drive to just kind of like move along with cutting edge technology, but the problem with that is people are just not used to seeing addresses and sending money that way, and the lack of like quote unquote protection because there's no intermediary that can reverse transactions. I think that by going the route that you are going in, you're gonna give people a better time, and I feel like a lot less people are gonna drop out of crypto because of some issue that they encounter that they weren't really ready for. So before I go into anything else, I want to pass it back to you. Let's talk a bit about the token, how it launched, what the status of it is, and why it's there.
Definitely. Well, I got my apron on. I'm ready to cook. So thank you, man. It's Friday, so ready to cook up. So yeah, well, first of all, congratulations getting into the pre-sale. On that note, we did, of course, have a pre-sale on the biggest decentralized launchpad out there, which is currently pink sale. We raised, just over about 100 ETH. I think it was 110 or so. Fantastic launch. Started at 300K market cap. Is currently sitting at just around that 2.4 mil mark. So obviously, some great gains for those that found us early and understood. But we were trumpeting this all over the place. I mean, think about it. Fully working platform, fully doxed, clear utility, people with big know-how in the industry of having deep connections to some of the biggest porn stars in the world, and girls next door on OnlyFans. It just made sense, right? It was kind of a no-brainer. So I appreciate that you found that. I do want to say though, our all-time high was a little bit past 4 million. So there's still there's a lot of runway here for this to absolutely explode. And before we get into too much in the weeds on the token side, because I'd love to, I want to just kind of set the groundwork for what is the possibility here. Now I know this might sound a little bit like maybe like moon math or whatever, but I do want to just preface this by saying this was actually deduced, I should say, by actually looking at projected growth based off of our current valuation and our comparison to OnlyFans if we were half as successful. So the numbers I'm about to say are if we are half as successful as OnlyFans in their first year, where would we be at revenue wise? And I promise this will relate to the token soon. So I just wanted to say this number, and I won't get into the crazy numbers because they are pretty wild, but they're realistic. I'll let you guys explore that on the website when you look there. But let me just say the first full year, just to bring it down to earth here. In our entire first year, which is going to be 2024, starting next month, a couple days actually now, in our first full year, we're projected to bring in just under $500,000 in net revenue. That's after everything's already paid out, development, all that sort of stuff. As a company, we're looking to bring in that amount specifically earmarked for buyback and burns. So it's actually considerably more than that, but that's how much we're looking to do in just buyback and burns in our token. Now, I mentioned, $480,000 in buyback and burns in Fanx token. That's getting people excited, but something made it even better. And this was something new that we did to really say thank you to everyone that's finding us early, like yourself, like the hundreds and now more than 2,000 people that are holders in Fanx token. And we said, we want to do a loyalty program to allow for holders to be able to directly get rewarded off of the success of us as a company. Emphasis on company, not the token, but the company. And you're going to get exposure to it directly through what I'm about to say. This is a loyalty program that we introduced not too long ago, a few weeks ago. It's in Gen 2 right now. There's 3 generations. Each one has a corresponding amount of points that you earn every single week. And it's as simple as this. Starting at 250K tokens, which at time of recording is a little bit under 2.5 ETH or so. You get access to tier 1 going all the way up to 1.5 million, which is tier 6, which obviously earns you more points per week. What these points are going to do is simple as this. It's going to unlock rev share potential proportionate to the amount of points you have. Now, of course, there's going to be other people in that same pool that are sharing that rev. But I wanted to emphasize this. We have thought about this diligently, and we created a system where at any time you can redeem back to your tokens that are in these NFTs that you're minting using your tokens, and there's no penalty. We're not doing any of that tax farm stuff. Hey, 1% fee for staking or any of that junk. You get your tokens, you can stake in, you can stake out. Here's the catch though. If you stake out of your generation, you can no longer mint that same generation if the mint period is done. The first gen mint period is done. So if minters from Gen 1, which we had quite a bit of, if they decide to redeem back to their tokens because maybe they want to get some gains or just hold their tokens in their wallet, they can do so, no penalty, but they can never mint to Gen 1 anymore. The wheels are probably turning in listeners' heads right now. That means a very scarce and finite supply of NFTs that is only ever going down in supply and increasing in potential revenue because it's unlocking more proportionate rev share. Now, I wanted to mention with these loyalty points, you can do more than just, tap into the rev share potential here, which is 5% of net profit. So of that 480,000, effectively in our first year, we're going to be rev sharing 240,000 just to holders of those NFTs. So 5% of net rev. Wild. The numbers get crazy as we get into 2025 and 2028. I'll let you guys explore that for yourself, but I just wanted to give the full first year. Anyways, that's a big program that we just released.
So when I bought the token, I looked at the charts of the two other competing tokens out there for this industry, and both of them reached highs of like up to $100 million market cap. And I do think that you guys have a big runway if you play your cards right and if you keep doing the marketing that you've been doing. I wanted to put that out there because this is kind of what I do whenever I buy something, like with Bitcoin as a small example, is I compare it to gold and I look at the gold market cap and I see that there's like a 15x runway there. And it's the same with FrontFanz. Like at the peak, some of these competing products had 100 million. You guys are 2.5 now.
Oh, it's so undervalued. Yeah.
It is definitely undervalued. I would like to see how this continues on. I feel like the problem I've seen with competitors is that they start big and they lose steam.
Yes.
With you guys, I feel like you keep going and it's been pretty good so far. So I'm really excited to see where this goes.
Well, just to add to that, I mean, we really appreciate that. And this is something that is, whereas reverse projects, they start big and then only fall, and a month in, they're, close to where they started if you're lucky, if not below. In our case, we had a huge pump at the beginning, right? And then people, they thought, maybe that it was a meme or similar to old dynamics of, tokens. Maybe they got a little burnt on meme tokens or whatever. They took profits, and we were sitting at at that $1 million mark for a while. And then what happened, and this is what's beautiful, is we started getting this surge of new users coming in through word of mouth. It was like, I don't even know how to explain. It wasn't paid. It wasn't coerced. Nothing. One day, and I have to give a shout out to, his name's Crypto Tit, very aptly named. He joined. He just started asking questions. He just said, "Hey, how big is this industry? Show me the team. Are they actually docs? Let me see it. Link me to the white paper. All these different questions." It was like 5-6 different questions. By the end of it, he said, "Okay, I'll be back later." Literally a few hours later, he posted a YouTube video and he says, "I just made this YouTube video. Would you mind pinning it?" Of course, we're going to pin it. We pin it. And then people start flooding in. "Hey, what is this all about? I need more information. How do I buy? What's the website? Pop, pop, pop." And we start climbing and climbing and climbing. 1.7 mil, continuing to climb, getting close to 2 mil, pulling back, pushing back again. And we've just had so many of these individuals come forward and share word of mouth. So we're at this fever pitch right now where the community and natural word of mouth is becoming massive for us. We're not needing to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars into paid marketing that isn't really going to do anything. It is really effective in people understanding the potential here, and it's strong. Now, what we are investing heavily in, well, we are, of course, doing, marketing on the crypto side, but what we've really started aggressively doing is kind of our secret weapon. And it's something that I'll say here because there's specifics that we do that I won't mention. we're investing heavy into Web 2 marketing. We're getting on tube sites. We have FrontFanz as a platform being marketed all over the place. And that's why we're having up to hundreds of people joining the platform from the Web 2 side. This is what other competitors are lacking, why they lose steam, because they don't even know how to market on the Web 2 side. They don't understand the complexities of getting it right in marketing in the Web 2 side when it comes to adult platforms. They understand the crypto side very well, without a doubt, but they're in a Web 2 industry that they're looking to evolve into Web 3. So you better understand the underlying layer first, which I can confidently say our team is, understanding in spades, which is great. So that's really been our secret sauce. And that's why we're having this steady climb up and user adoption, because people see that we actually understand the industry very well. So thank you for that recognition, by the way. It means a lot.
No problem. So I have a few tough questions if you don't mind. And I think that these are things that come up in a lot of people's minds when they think about the adult entertainment industry. And especially because you guys are trying to detach the dependence on these like traditional systems that used to sort of gatekeep and control what happens. So first thing first is, how do you deal with authenticating people's ages? Given that you don't do KYC most of the time, I kind of want to understand how that works. And this is out of a curiosity. And I think this is a question that comes up in a lot of people's minds when they think about investing in these types of products.
Oh, this is a very good question. I do want to clarify, when I say no KYC, it's for the users. When it comes to creators, from day one, they have to be KYC'd for clear reasons, of course, like you mentioned. They have to be 18 plus. That's the global, standard for age of creating adult content, on the web. So they have to be 18 plus. They obviously have to be willing. Right now, we're also doing consultations with these creators as well. So they actually understand how to create on our platform. They understand, that basically how easy it is. We've actually introduced a new system where they can even stream, they can do live streams on our platform on their phone now, which definitely no Web3 platform has. We're actually an industry first in that. So you don't need to use OBS on the back end to be able to stream. You can actually do it directly from your phone now, which is kind of like an obvious, like, oh, of course that should be there, but no, nobody's doing it, but we are. So anyways, bringing it down to the security side, yes, you do have to be 18 plus. There is a KYC process, and we're actually going to be scaling that up in the first quarter of the new year here, actually probably in the first couple of weeks of January, where we even have an automated not AI, sorry, an automated, I was thinking of another thing we're going to talk about soon, an automated KYC process that's external that is able to verify the ages and ensure that that's done properly.
Got it. Thank you. That's a good answer. And the other thing is that this is kind of more of a wish from my side. When I've looked into the reasons that people don't use crypto in the space, is that it's typically not a creator problem. It always falls back on the user. So with the creators, they're actually kind of like people that do adult content are some of the best adopters of new technologies ever. And it's obviously because of like the need. They need to explore different options because they're not having a good experience with the pre-existing solutions. But when it comes to the people that are purchasing, they've gotten used to that. What we said in the beginning is they have a sort of privilege where they can do a chargeback, or they can say that this is not my money. There's a lot of things that they could do that they can't necessarily do when using crypto. That's first. And second is that they're not necessarily used to using a wallet. Like they don't know what a MetaMask wallet is or how to pay gas. So what I wanted to ask is, do you have any intentions for, besides, linking Apple Pay and Google Pay, like back to the Web3 side, do you have any intentions of like trying to simplify the process for new users if they want to use crypto payment solutions?
Yes. So I wanted to clarify, on platform, it's an embedded wallet on the platform, right? So if you're coming from the Web 2 side, let's say, which is going to be in the millions, especially with the creators we have access to that are already creating and that we're, aggressively looking to onboard as well every single week here, they're bringing over their Web 2 folks, right? These people don't even understand crypto. And here's the beauty of it: we don't need them to, which is amazing. We really don't need them to, because the user flow, which I encourage every single person when they hear this to try out themselves. Don't believe me. Never believe someone, right? Like always try it for yourself. I'm really big on that. See the user flow for yourself. So you can just go to frontfanz.com. You can set up an email and password just as a trial. Use a throwaway. Just give it a shot. And what you're going to find is, first of all, the explore page. You can subscribe to new creators and all that. But if you go to the upper right, there's a little wallet logo, and that's going to allow you to top up your funds. And this is a normal process that you would normally encounter if you're on the likes of OnlyFans or other platforms. You're going to have to load your account with something, right? Whether it be gems, whether it be with dollars, euros, whatever, you're going to have to load your account. So users are used to that type of experience. Now, the difference here is we make it very easy with two different fiat on-ramp systems. So you can buy with the embedded widget on Alchemy Pay, on Change Now. And what's beautiful is when you buy using, like was mentioned, Apple Pay, Google Pay, or directly entering your credit card or debit card, you can buy crypto. It won't show as FrontFanz. It'll show as Change Now or as Alchemy. We also have some other partners linked up as well, but those are the two we're using right now. So you have options. And within seconds, once everything's verified, it will credit to your account. And then you're off to the races. You don't even need to know that this is crypto. And that's the beauty of it. So when it comes to user adoption and making it simple, I would say that's about as simple as we can get right now. We're always trying to improve it. And we do have a help center to make it even easier. If you do want to take it on the crypto side, if you do want to explore that, we have comprehensive guides of how to set up a wallet, education as well on a basic level of protecting your seed phrase, how to connect to the platform from a creator standpoint and from a user standpoint. So we are definitely taking education very serious, as a serious project should. But I do just want to emphasize, for a Web 2 user, it has never been easier to use a Web 3 product, at least in our opinion, for how we set it up.
See, I actually didn't know that that's how the system worked. And I think that that's really genius because I've encountered these types of issues before. And I think that by having them purchase from Alchemy, then you make it so that there's no way for anybody to tie it back to adult entertainment.
Exactly.
It's really, really smart. So, okay, that really does answer my question. You mentioned something about AI. Could you please go into that? What are you guys thinking about AI wise? Oh, okay, wait, sorry, I'm jumping around a lot. But one thing that is starting to happen in the adult industry that a lot of news is coming out about is these AI models. Like, they're not real people, they're just like AI generated models. They're hooked up, they create porn out of that, and then they use that on OnlyFans. I think recently, like an AI model hit the top 1% on OnlyFans. How are you going to deal with that? Have you thought about it at all?
We have, and we've actually had quite a few applications of people trying to pretend to, be a model, but they're not. It's very clear because it's caught at the KYC level. If it's not proper documents, passport, accepted documents, and that person doesn't match who's on stream, then it's a no-go. You're removed or you're never even allowed on the platform. So the risk of AI content being on platform is effectively zero. Now, I will say, and I do want to emphasize this, staying with the times, creators can enhance their content with AI, but it still has to be, shown that it's them, if that makes sense. So it obviously can't look like someone completely different because there's risks there as far as age and verification. So as long as they're doing, reasonable enhancements, if they choose to use AI, the majority of our users don't. Or creators, a couple of them do, but you can still obviously tell that it's that person. So as long as it matches the KYC documents, then you're in the go. But if you're just purely spitting out some AI generated content and you expect that to be on platform, it's a no go because there's no KYC to match to that person.
Great answer. Thank you for that. I was really curious about that. You did say something about AI. Could you go into that?
Yes, I would love to. So this ties into the security of the platform, and not talking about standard security. I'm talking about the security of being a long-term project. And this comes down to moderation, right? So as you can imagine, even if you've already gone through the KYC process, you ensure that these creators are 18 plus. Unfortunately, with any large project, which we are scaling up to be aggressively, there's going to be attempts at posting underage content, illicit content, violent content. I'm not talking about kink content. That's 100% welcome, which actually isn't on OnlyFans in some regards. But I'm talking like clearly violent content where there's death threats, things like that. Or one of the worst things, in my opinion, is exploitation of children. Those things obviously can't be allowed on platform. And so what we're doing right now is manual moderation. We have a 24/7 team that moderates for that content and removes it. But we've actually teamed up with a company called Safer. And this Safer Technology, they're an AI company that's actually funded by Ashton Kutcher. or at least it was when it first began. I think it still is actually. But anyways, what they use is they use AI technology to be able to actually scan for underage content, comparing to a database they have, and then removing that, flagging it, and reporting it to the authorities as well. Now, this is an amazing set of tech because it's actually helped find missing and exploited children. I think more than 100, I believe. I think it's actually way more than that now because of this content being flagged and then having it be actually reported to the authorities. So I think it's absolutely amazing. You're actually saving kids' lives by implementing this technology. We have a standing agreement with them right now to look to integrate them within the first year or first full year, which is 2024. So I'm really excited at being able to integrate that. I think it's going to take us to the next level. But again, it hasn't been done yet. Right now, it's all manual moderation, but we've done a great job of removing any illicit content that shouldn't be there.
This is a very, very difficult problem for any website to deal with. You even look at the likes of Facebook and Twitter, and they basically, like you said, they have manual people go in and do this all day, every day. So I think you guys are doing some really interesting things. I'm very excited to hear about that. I wanted to try to get into some personal questions, if that's something that you're okay with, like your personal journey. How did you end up in crypto? What started that?
Oh man. Well, no, see here, I love this too because I did a little digging and I listened to a few episodes, a little segments of your show, which I love by the way. And from what I've discerned, it is really focused on kind of that journey, right? Of working in crypto, kind of grinding in this space, creating a name for yourself, and really kind of just the pleasure of working in Web3. So I started my journey, well, in 2021, seriously. That's when I really started diving into DeFi. I first found out about crypto through, I'll be honest, YouTube, as I think many of us did in a way. And I just kind of just jumped right in, head first into it, and I fell in love with it, to be quite honest. I found some amazing communities. I was blessed to be able to be given the opportunity to show my Web 2 skills in Web 3 and marketing and communications. And it kind of blossomed into where I am now. So I'm very well known in this space for, I'm not patting myself on the back or anything, but just something that I'm very proud of in general is, I do a lot of stuff on spaces and, kind of that visibility when it comes to communications. And Jordana, who I had met in 2021 in kind of passing, she reached out to me about 9 months ago and she said, Adam, we're building this thing called FrontFanz, and Callum brought me in recently, and we're looking for someone to manage your socials and really give that extra little edge when it comes to communication, because we think it's the lifeblood of getting a product like this out is education and understanding, how impactful this industry is. Would you consider it? And I said, well, I mean, I would love to. Let me meet the team. So we all jumped on Google Meets, showed our videos, our video cameras up, and I fell in love with the team. Just as I did with the industry at large of crypto, I fell in love with this specific team. Flash forward a little bit, in October, I actually met the team IRL in Rome. We met for kind of a team summit, as well as finalizing some business. And I was even more bought in. I left, I'm in Florida here in the States. I left here feeling 10 out of 10 as far as commitment. And then I left feeling Rome on my way back, feeling 12 out of 10. I'm like, wow, I see the vision. I see that they're connected. I see who they hang out with. And more importantly, I see what type of character is behind these people, and I'm ready to go. Put my name on the website, put my LinkedIn on there, which, by the way, feel free, add me on LinkedIn, whatever you like. I'm ready to go. And where we're at now is a beautiful place because I see the platform just absolutely blossoming. I see that we're doing excellent on the crypto side. And this is an industry that is about to be disrupted big time by FrontFanz. But anyways, bring it back to my journey. That's how I got into crypto, just through just genuine curiosity and meshing my skill sets into Web3. And I'm never going back. I love this space too much.
I feel like for me personally, one thing that I've enjoyed a lot in working in this space is the fact that I work with people from all walks of life.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get that experience in a traditional company. You just don't. You go to work, you kind of do things that you don't want to do. You have to sit with people that you don't really know or care about. But this is a space, not just crypto, but even the adult entertainment world. The fact that it's online, it gives people the ability to choose their associates, to choose what they want to do. There's a lot of freedom involved in it, and you get to experience things that most people don't. Like, you get to travel, you get to see the world, you get to meet people from all over. I think that's such a blessing, and I really am happy to hear that you found your way in here. I think there's a huge lack of people that do what you do. you're good at talking, you're charismatic, and I said this at the start and I mean it. It's a massively missing skill. Like everybody here is either a tech person, so they're not really good at kind of getting the point across of like why would you do this? Why would you, set up a wallet and do all this extra stuff when you can just use PayPal or Cash App or whatever. So I would like to see you stick in here and see what happens as things go along. I have a question about like challenges that you've run up to. Have you run into any challenges both since joining FrontFanz and since entering the space in general?
Not too much. And I think that's something that doesn't often happen when you're venturing in new. I'll say just on a personal level, I've been working professionally in the Web3 space since 2021, but I was never full time in crypto since this year. So all of 2023 was my first full year in crypto. No Web2 job, just crypto. And it's been scary, yes, because when you work for yourself and you're looking to network with really good teams and getting your name out there, it's scary. It is scary. But once you let go of that fear, and this is my call to action to every single one, so every single person listening in, thinking, do I let go of that tether? Do I get rid of that job that I hate? Do I just dive headfirst into crypto? Obviously, it's your decision. Make sure it meshes with your financials and everything like that. But take that leap. If you're able to take the leap, it is 100% worth it. It is scary, but it is worth it. This is that sign saying just do it if the time's right. With that being said, when it relates to FrontFanz specifically, no. I mean, outside of the normal stuff with a project, ensuring that you're scaling properly, ensuring that you're getting on even more team members. We've exploded in popularity since we launched, obviously. So we've onboarded some great moderators. That was a whole process of getting the best of the best. Just normal kind of project hurdles. So we've been really blessed with being able to, have the trajectory and the momentum that we have.
I think the timeline that FrontFanz launched in is also very good. We're clearly going back into some bull market cycle.
Yes.
Things are picking up, and the economic state of the world in general is just kind of improving slowly.
Mhm.
So I think that, next year is going to be very successful for you. A few more questions I wanted to know, like, do you guys plan on doing any partnerships with traditional crypto companies, like trying to create connections in this space? Is this something that you're looking into?
Oh, yes. And in fact, it's a huge feature of what we are proud of. We recently partnered, well, last month with Flues, who lets you buy in a decentralized way using Apple Pay, Google Pay, but directly buying Fanx. So we partnered with them and are kind of, I guess you could say, partner with them. We also are very proudly partnered with TreatDAO, who is doing some amazing things on the adult side and non-adult side when it comes to, just building an amazing platform and magazine. And we've had a continued partnership with them. In fact, we actually have an AMA coming up right after Christmas, so might even be able to listen to that one, which would be great. In addition, we also, and I didn't mention this, on the Web2 side, we have a partnership with Lovense. For those that don't know, Lovense is the #1 adult toy manufacturer for both men and women that has integration in our platform, not just in name, but in true functionality. You can tip a creator that has a Lovense integration, and if they integrate it into their tip menu, you can activate their toy, and it's working right now, which is so cool. There's also quite a few others as well that we're looking at. On the Web3 side, we have a partnership with Slink, who is a link aggregator similar to Linktree, but a little bit more personal. We actually know the owners there, and they're pretty great friends. And most recently, this is actually off of another invite AMA that we got invited to. Shout out to Joey. We have some eyes on us from the Hmong community as well. We didn't expect that, but after that AMA, we got some DMs and got some interest. So nothing official there. We're not partnered with Hmong or anything, but just wanted to say that's something that also is really great, is getting that awareness. So those are the current partners, and we're obviously doors wide open to anyone listening in who's building in Web3. That's a serious project that would like to partner with a project that's looking to take on $1 billion industry, completely docs team. Send us a DM on X. We'd love to connect.
Have you heard of friend.tech?
Of course, I was there in the initial influencer phase when they were getting people on. Yeah, pretty wild.
Their model of growth has been, and I mention this because I feel like this is a trend that's been picking up. There's a new one called Colinks. It's made by like a pretty big, it's called Coordinate. It's some contribution tracking system that uses crypto. And I feel like there's a trend there that's happening that would be also interesting to see somehow in the adult industry. I'm just
I
kind of
love it.
putting in wishes at this point. I want to just say to anybody that's listening to keep an open mind. This is not a topic that people usually talk freely about. I feel like adult entertainment in general is sort of
Mhm.
taboo in a lot of ways, but keep an open mind because what you guys are doing with on the technology side is very interesting. Like the Levin's tip thing, I think that's really interesting, and the format of that, whatever it is, like how this integration works, can be applied in so many different areas of life. Like directly using some tipping system to activate machinery. Maybe it's a cat feeder. Maybe it's I don't know some helping poor people. There's a lot of ways to directly integrate these types of systems, and a lot of companies can learn from what you guys have done very successfully at this point, which is launch a product, merge in two separate sides of technology, this Web 2 space and Web 3 space, keep up the marketing, have constant steam behind what you're doing. And for the people that are interested, I would just say check out their token, check out their site. And thank you so much for coming on. I've learned a lot. Is there anything that you want to shout out before we wrap this up?
Oh, well, I mean, especially for spaces as amazing as this, I'd just like to say thank you for everyone listening. You took time out of your day to hear about everything FrontFanz. So a profound thank you to you, Sarah, and everyone here at Decentra Talks. Thank you for the invite. That was a really nice surprise to have that hit my inbox and have the invite here to be broadcasted out to the world. And I really hope from this, if you guys take nothing else from it, look into the industry. Whether you invest in FrontFanz or not, I mean, we'd love to have you, but just look into the industry. Is it really recession resistant? Is it really something that needs to be shaken up? Are we actually that option? Are we that serious option? I want you to discover all of those, and we would love to help you along the journey. Join our TG, join our Twitter. If you're a potential partner, drop us a DM. We would love to have that. We're very open minded, and we would love to have you along with the journey with us. But that's all I have to say. I just wanted to say a big thank you for having us on.
I'll leave links in the descriptions to FrontFanz, the token, the Uniswap pool, and everything that relates to your project. I'll also leave a link to your LinkedIn if you'd like to put that somewhere, or your X. So if anybody here that's listening is interested in reaching out and potentially partnering with you guys or asking questions, they can do so. And beyond that, like again, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, and we hopefully will talk again soon at some point.
Oh, I mean, we have to. This was an amazing AMA. So thank you for facilitating. Appreciate it.
Awesome.